Hello and welcome for another video with me, Veerle de Bruyne. And I'm going to try to make two videos, maybe in one or maybe two separate videos about the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse. So there's going to be a solar eclipse on, let's start with that one, on the 30th of September, and it's going to be in the sign of Virgo. And just trying to make this camera look in a perfect position, which is very Virgo-like, isn't it? Now, so the solar eclipse will be on the 13th. It will be at 20 degrees of Virgo. So in the monthly horoscopes, I will look for your sign particularly, but here I want to have a look in general what the flavor of this solar eclipse is all about. So the sun and the moon will be together at 20 degrees of Virgo. Now I always have a look at what the Soros series is about the eclipses. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I will put out a link below that explains what it is, because eclipses are in series and are never alone. And therefore it's good to investigate what the original eclipse was all about. And this one, these two eclipses, the solar and the lunar one, belong to the 18th North eclipse. And now what does it mean? It has a meaning. Everything, well, that's astrology, isn't it? There's a meaning in the constellation of the planets. And this, the energy, we have to look at the energy of initially the first eclipse of that series, of the 18 series North. We need to know the explanation before we have a look at this solar eclipse now and how it is connected to the other planets. Now it's very simple. This one is a bit more a tough one, a tougher eclipse. Does it mean to say it's negative or no? It's just the energy. The energy is a bit more stressful. And why is that? The stress lies in the Pluto-Mercury conjunction aspect. That is not going on now, as I speak around it, the 13th of September, but that was going on with the first eclipse of this series. So it has the energy of Pluto conjunct Mercury. What is the energy of Pluto conjunct Mercury? The good side of it, going deep with your thinking, focusing really on something and investigating it on a very deep level. The negative side is tunnel vision, because it's what we call in French the idée fixe. You can have such a fixated idea that you're lost in it. You know, you get into the tunnel and you can't get out. So this is the energy, and it is a bit stressful because this is the energy of the eclipse. Now, so that's first things first is, okay, there is this tension that is all about focusing, but you will need all your efforts and your talents in order for you to arrive where you want to arrive. So that's basically the energy that Bernadette Brady describes with this kind of eclipse. So that's one thing. It's a bit stressful, but it's very deep. It's very intense. And you want to know Pluto Mercury, you know, if you find that in a natal chart, and I think I have that. Yes, I have that. And that means that these people, they really want to go for the truth. They would do anything to investigate and to get to the truth. So there's nothing wrong with it, but it can give you some frustrations because of that. So that's one general thing. Now let's go back now in time. What are the other planets doing during this solar eclipse? Now, first of all, the moon and the sun together in Virgo. What is that all about? And I think the most significant thing here is that it opposes Chiron in Pisces. So the axis of Virgo and Pisces is the axis of healing. It's the axis of health and And not only physical health, but also mental health, health on a soul level, on a mental level. There are different levels that we have. We don't just have a physical body. There's also the mind, the spirit, and so on. So it's health on all those levels. And whenever you see people who've got a lot of planets in Pisces and in Virgo, sometimes you see people with that duality. They always do something that has to do with healing. Whether they are doing acupuncture, whether they are doing astrology, it doesn't matter. There's always an aspect to it. And so this one is. So this aspect or this solar eclipse is definitely about pain and about learning from that pain. So people who've got strong Chirons in their chart, and this is very strong Chiron kind of chart, they, as everybody else, experience pain. We all do, we all have Chiron in our chart. But this one, when it's aspected to the moon and to the sun, which is the most important lights, you could say, out there, then it has a bit more significance because the pain needs to be taken into consideration. So you can't run away from it, in other words. Sometimes people just run away from their pains, but if you've got Chiron, as in this chart, so strongly, you can't. You need to go through it, you need to see it, you need to really accept it almost. And accept it is a big word. I mean, acknowledge it and looking at it and trying to understand where it's coming from. So people with strong Chirons when they are younger, they have their pains, of course, but it's very deep. It's almost like shame. And they give it a certain place during their life, and therefore they start working with it. And it becomes actually their strength because they can help others in understanding their pains and recognizing it and working with it. So therefore the wounded healer. Therefore a lot of people with strong Chirons are teachers in some kind of way. So this is the second important thing that is related to the solar eclipse. So it's about deep thinking, it's about going for the truth, but that can cause some stress. And it's about healing as well. It's about not escaping from the pain and dealing with it and giving it a place and working with it. Now with the Chiron, working with it also means, because when Chiron is related to the sun and the moon, it means that it always will be a scar. You can't, it's always there. You can't solve it. But that doesn't mean to say you must have a terrible life or something. But it means that it's very difficult to help yourself during this period. But what suits you almost, or what helps you, is helping others. So there's a lot of, and Virgo is very much related to service. It's very much related to the 6th house, which is helping others. It's a kind of, I'm not going to say devotion, but it's, doing something for someone else. And with the Pisces energy, it's without wanting something in return. Because when you help someone, and they feel better, it's an uplift for you as well. So that's the Chiron part of it. So we all are asked here to reach out to other people, not rescuing them, of course, but giving them a hand. So that's what this solar eclipse is all about. It's almost like we all have our own problems, don't we? We ones have big ones and other ones have little ones, but we all have our problems. And sometimes when you're really, really sad, when you're really, really depressed, by helping someone else, it lifts you up. It really does. I speak out of experience. Because I have a very strong Chiron in my chart as well. Now, anyway, so this is the team, second thing. Another thing is that during, what else is happening except for the Chiron, and that's the last thing I want to mention, is that there's also a Jupiter-Neptune opposition at the same time when the solar eclipse happens. And I think that is a bit of a contradictory energy coming in here, because Jupiter opposing to Neptune is a very broad vision, a very spiritual vision, and it's helping the Mercury Pluto, which is very focus, detail. It's helping them to keep on seeing things in perspective. So normally Jupiter Pluto opposition, if you read that in the books, it's not the most favorable aspect, because it can lead to almost overindulgence of oh yes, a spirit and all of that, and we're all one, that kind of thing. But it's the solar eclipse in Virgo, and Virgo is a very earthly sign, and it knows that we cannot help other people around us if we are not staying with ourselves, which is often seen with the Virgo. The Virgo are good helpers in their own specific way, because they have that kind of detachment, and sometimes Virgos are told to be cold, which is absolutely not true. And I'm not saying that because I am a Virgo. But they say that because they have that distance there. But it is needed whenever, and since this is a very healing and helping kind of energy, whenever we want to help someone, we need to go down there. We need to be and have that empathy with that person that is going through difficulties, which is the Chiron in Pisces. They can do that. But if you just stay there, you're not helping them. If you just stay there with the problems, you're not helping them. And therefore, this Virgo energy, they go with them, they understand, they listen, but then they disconnect again. And they have to. So they say this and that, they give a bit of advice, and off they go. It seems that they totally cut the cords, but it isn't. But that's how they function. They analyze it, and then they say, look, let's go and have a pizza or something. So very down-to-earth kind of people, the Virgos, most of them. So this is the energy that we all can tap into, and it's a time around that time to help others. It's a time to investigate, but it's also a time to not be wanting to impose. So by helping that helping energy, it's also very important by being detached a bit from that tunnel vision. That the initial eclipse is all about, the Mercury Pluto. People who've got that in their chart, they tend to have very strong opinions, and they tend to be very, I'm not going to say fanatic, but very passionate about that. And so other people see that as they want to influence me, but that's not it. They are just so very into that idea. So watch out for being too much having, this kind of tunnel vision. That's one advice for the solar eclipse. Go out and help others. It's a good time to do that, and do it in the Virgo way, which is a bit analytical, but being there, the Pisces Chiron energy, having the empathy, but also and the listening, listening. How often, how rare is it, let's put it that way, that people really, really listen to our problems and really want to do that unconditionally? It doesn't happen a lot, otherwise we wouldn't have. Astrologers, therapists, and all of that wouldn't have any work, would they, if other people would listen? But it's not only that. Enjoy the solar eclipse. People who've got planets around 20 degrees of Virgo, 20 degrees of Pisces, 20 degrees of Sagittarius, and 20 degrees of Gemini will feel it the most. So for them, it's very much a call, you could say, for helping out other people. And it can be someone who's near to you, it can be a friend, it can be a relative, it can be also someone who's just living in your neighborhood. Okay, that's for the solar eclipse. Have a very good solar eclipse. Thanks a lot for listening, and see you in the monthly horoscopes. Bye.